Everyone has a reason they haven't started yet. The market is too high right now. I have student loans to pay off first. I don't have enough to make it worth it. I'll start when I'm making more money. I just need to get stable first, and every single one of those reasons sounds responsible. Reasonable. Like the adult thing to do. But there is a number attached to every month you wait. A real dollar amount. And most people have never seen it written down. So let's write it down. Jake starts investing at 22. Fresh out of school, entry-level job, nothing figured out. He puts in $300 a month and doesn't stop. Marcus waits. He wants to pay off his student loans first, build an emergency fund, get a raise, get settled. He starts at 32. Same $300 a month. Same index fund, same strategy. The only difference is 10 years. By the time both of them are 65, Jake has approximately $2.1 million. Marcus has approximately $800,000. Same monthly contribution, same fund, same discipline. The only variable is when they started. The gap between them is $1.3 million. And here's the part that makes it worse. Jake contributed $36,000 more than Marcus over those 10 early years. That is the entire difference in contributions. $36,000 became a $1.3 million gap. Every dollar Jake put in during his 20s generated roughly $36 of additional retirement wealth compared to a dollar Marcus put in at 32. That is what waiting costs. Not the payment you skipped, the compounding you gave up on every single dollar that came after it. But let's not start at the ending. Let's start where Marcus starts. At the beginning of his logic. Marcus is 22 and he has $18,000 in student loans. He's making $38,000 a year, living in an apartment with a roommate, and the idea of pulling $300 a month out of a paycheck that barely covers his bills feels genuinely irresponsible. He's not being lazy, he's not being avoidant, he's being logical. Pay the debt first, get stable, then invest. That sequence sounds right to almost every financial instinct most people have. Jake is 22 and he has the same $18,000 in student loans. He makes the same $38,000. But Jake does something slightly different. He puts $300 a month into a total market index fund and pays the minimum on his loans at the same time. His budget is tighter. He drives the same car through year 3. He doesn't upgrade his apartment when Marcus does. He just keeps the $300 going every single month. For the first 2 or 3 years, Marcus looks like he's making the smarter play. His loans are dropping fast. His balance sheet looks cleaner. He has no investment account balance to show anyone, but he also has no debt. By 25, Marcus is debt-free. He feels it. That psychological weight lifting off is real. And now he's ready to invest. He just needs 1 more year to build his emergency fund properly. Then he'll start. Meanwhile, Jake's index fund at 22 is worth almost nothing. Year 1, maybe $3,800. Year 2, around $8,200. Year 3, roughly $13,000. Nothing to put on a bumper sticker. Nothing to tell anyone about. He's not building the kind of wealth that shows up anywhere in real life yet. It just sits in an account that he mostly ignores. Here is what Jake's $13,000 at age 25 is actually worth. Not today. At 65. At 10% annual returns over 40 years, $13,000 becomes approximately $590,000 before he adds another dollar. That $13,000 he quietly accumulated while Marcus was paying off debt will, by itself, become more than $500,000 by retirement. That is the math Marcus never ran. Not because he was careless, because compound interest over long timelines produces numbers that feel impossible until you actually calculate them. By 27, Marcus has his emergency fund. He's debt-free, financially clean, and finally ready. He opens his brokerage account and starts at $300 a month. He feels good about it. He tells people about it. He's doing the right thing. He's just 5 years late. Jake doesn't notice. He's been running on autopilot since 22 and isn't thinking about it. Let's check the scoreboard at age 42. Both of them are 20 years into their adult lives. Jake has been investing for 20 years. Marcus has been investing for 10. Jake's portfolio at 42, approximately $206,000. Marcus's portfolio at 42, approximately $57,000. The gap is already $149,000. Same monthly contribution, 20 years of one, 10 years of the other. The difference is entirely time, but here's what makes Marcus feel okay at 42. He has more cash flow. His loans are paid off. His car is better. His apartment is nicer. He makes more money than Jake because he prioritized career advancement in his 20s instead of watching every dollar. The investment gap is real, but life looks more comfortable from Marcus's side of it. He figures he'll make it up by contributing more in his 40s when income is higher. He doubles his contribution at 43, $600 a month. He's serious now. He's going to close the gap. Let's check the scoreboard at 52. Jake has been investing for 30 years. Marcus has been investing for 20. Jake's portfolio at 52, approximately $592,000. Marcus's portfolio at 52, now at $600 a month for the last 10 years added to his base, approximately $340,000. The gap has grown to $250,000, and Marcus is contributing twice as much. He's not closing it, he's watching it stretch. This is the thing about compounding that doesn't reveal itself until you're deep inside it. In the early years, contributions dominate. The money you put in matters more than the returns, because the base is small. But after 15 to 20 years, the returns dwarf the contributions. Jake's portfolio at 52 is generating roughly $59,000 a year in investment returns at 10%. Marcus, contributing $7,200 a year in new money, is adding less than Jake's account earns passively in a single year. The compounding has escaped the phase where Marcus can catch it with effort. Every year Marcus waited, he didn't just lose 1 year of contributions, he lost 1 year of compounding on everything that came after. Every dollar he invested at 32 had 33 years to work. Every dollar Jake invested at 22 had 43 years to work. That 10-year difference doesn't add 10 years to the timeline. It multiplies every single dollar in the account by a different factor. At 10% over 43 years, $1 becomes roughly $60. At 10% over 33 years, $1 becomes roughly $23. The same dollar, invested 10 years earlier, produces 2.5 times the result at retirement. Not 1.5 times, 2.5 times. That is not a marginal difference. That is a completely different financial life. The number nobody tells you is this. The 10 years Marcus waited, ages 22 to 32, cost him more retirement wealth than everything he contributed from 32 to 65 combined. Let's run it at 65. Jake, $300 a month from 22 to 65. Total contributions, $154,800. Final portfolio value at 10% annually, approximately $2.1 million. Marcus, $300 a month from 32 to 65. Total contributions, $118,800. Final portfolio value at 10% annually, approximately $800,000. Jake put in $36,000 more than Marcus over his lifetime. The gap at retirement is $1.3 million. The math is not close. It never was. It was decided in the first 10 years before Marcus even began. Now let me be honest about when waiting is the right call, because it sometimes is. High interest debt, credit cards, personal loans above 12 or 15%, should almost always be eliminated before investing aggressively. The guaranteed return of paying off a 20% interest rate credit card beats almost anything the market can offer. This is not a close call. Paying off high interest debt first is correct. If your employer offers a 401k match and you are not taking it, that is 100% immediate return on your money. No investment on earth beats that. Capturing the full match is the first priority before any other financial decision, even before paying off moderate interest debt. And if your financial situation is genuinely unstable, no emergency fund, volatile income, it's real possibility of needing that money in the next 12 months, putting $300 into an investment account while carrying no cash buffer is a real risk. Markets drop. Life happens. If you have to sell investments at a loss to cover an emergency, you lose on both ends. 3 to 6 months of expenses in a savings account is not optional before you invest aggressively. But if your debt is manageable, your employer matches your contributions, and you have a basic cash cushion, then every month you delay is a choice. A visible one with a real price. And the price is not $300, it's $300 compounded for 40 years. The 22-year-old who puts in $300 a month with a tight budget and no certainty is not making a foolish bet. They're buying decades of compounding that their 32-year-old self will never be able to buy back at any price. So Jake and Marcus both thought they were being smart. Jake thought the habit mattered more than the amount. Marcus thought the amount mattered more than the timing. Jake was right, not because he knew more, because he started when the clock still had 43 years on it. The real trap is not investing too little. The real trap is waiting until conditions feel perfect before you begin. Conditions never feel perfect. The market is always either too high or too uncertain. The salary is always either too low or already spoken for. The timing always feels slightly wrong, and every month that feels slightly wrong is a month that cost you a compounding year that cannot be recovered. That $36,000 Jake put in across 10 extra years isn't sitting in his portfolio somewhere. It triggered a chain reaction that ran for 4 decades. You cannot replicate that at 32. You cannot replicate it at 42. The only way to capture what Jake captured is to start when you're sitting where he was at 22. And if you're already past 32, the math changes. But the principle doesn't. The second best time to start is right now, not next year when things settle. Because next year, you'll be saying the same thing. And if you're wondering what happens when you pair an early start with a smarter investment allocation, not just an index fund, but tax-advantaged accounts, employer matches, and Roth conversions, the numbers from this video start looking modest. That's a completely different conversation. But for now, the next time you hear yourself say you'll start soon, run the number on what soon actually costs. Because that's the only number that matters.